Welcome to another tutorial by Lame Creations Log Analysis Made Easy, where we're covering down on the comp files, particularly as they relate to job interview questions, things you want to know. If people say, hey, where is this stuff located? This is the, the minimum stuff you're going to want to know. So today we're going to work on savedsearches.conf. I'm going to be honest, general rule, this is far more on the analyst side, but it is useful if you're going to be doing some system admin that you have an idea what the savedsearches.conf is. Um, yeah, so let's go through it. I'm going to go through the documentation. I'm going to pick out some of the key points here, and then we're going to do a demo of it. This make a lot more sense. All right, thing you want to look at here, definitely the stanza name. Each save search will have its own stanza. Nothing special about that. And by default, disabled equals false. If you want to disable them, you go in and disabled equals true. That's how you turn save searches on and off. Of course, all this can be done through the GUI. I've never actually gone in particularly and made changes to savesearches.conf other than to make minor changes so I could upload to Get. You're going to do this all through the GUI. But disabled, here's your search string. You're gonna have a search. That's very useful. Dispatch as, that's useful in the concept of who's gonna run it. Is it gonna run as a user, owner, whatever the case may be. Typically, you're not gonna modify that. And then here's where you go. You got enabled schedule. A save search is awesome. If it's not scheduled, it doesn't do a whole lot of good. So you want to make sure it's enabled, and then you set a cron job or some sort of schedule as to how often it should run. That's the big thing. Save searches are cool, but if you don't have a cron schedule on them, they don't really do much. So you want to make sure you have that set. And again, max concurrent by default, you can only run one of those running. There is a concept you could make the save search run multiple times, and before it's finished, you can run again. By default, that's not allowed. So that's where that would a setting there. Real-time schedule, not much. Schedule priority. If you have a lot of, if you're running into too many searches being run, you can change the priority, and that would be the schedule priority. There is some value in that. Schedule window, that gives you a sliding window, meaning that, hey, am I able to postpone running this query a few minutes? And so schedule window gives you that. That way, if you have too many searches all running at the same time, it can use the schedule window and say, you know what, I'll run it in like a minute or two. And so that's that feature. Then you've got some workload management. Then there's just a bunch of settings. And we're going to show these in actual detail, but just know, for example, if you're going to be sending out emails with your scheduled search, there's a whole bunch of email settings, email server, mail server settings, etc. If you need the script, if you want to make a script, do some action, you can do that. You can make it write its contents to a lookup. You can make its contents write to a summary index. These two are huge. For me, if I'm going to run a save search, I typically want results from it. So I'm going to make my stuff output to a lookup so you can have it done that route. Settings for summary index action, that's where that's done. Lookup table population, dispatch search. All right, there's a bunch of settings, but the general concept, biggest things you're going to pay attention to is right at the very beginning, it's going to be stanza name, disabled not, and the search string, and then a scheduled time. Those are the big ones. So let's go look at that. Let's actually go jump into Splunk. We're going to make a dashboard. We're going to make a scheduled search. Easiest thing to do, we're just going to go index equals internal head 1 table time. I didn't do squat with this, but I've got something that it's coming back. You can do this in your own environment because you'll have these logs. And then I just come up here and I hit save. You can save it as an alert or a report. Save searches are typically as reports, but you can do either one. We're gonna go as a report and we're gonna give it a title. Remember that little thing, give it a stanza name. That's where that comes from. So lame YouTube scheduled search. I'll hit save. If I give it permissions, that's who's gonna be able to run it. I'm gonna let it run as the app. You can set these permissions, very useful. These permissions are those are your permission settings, which we didn't talk about. Not that you don't typically deal with those in the actual comp file in the normal procedure. Here we're gonna go into edit schedule. And that's where it's really important. We want to schedule a report. When you click this, remember there was that enable schedule. That would be what's doing this. Here's how you set your cron job. You can run every hour, every day, every month, or just pick a cron job. I like that. Time range, schedule priority. Remember we talked about default higher highest. There's where priority comes into place. Window, how much you're going to allow it to slide. No window. And here, add actions. Remember we talked about you could send an email. Well, there will be an email option down here. Send email. You could do a run a script. You could make it ping, lookup, make a notable. Some of these are not available depending on, like this is enterprise security, so it's got more features. I can run a playbook in SOAR. I can send a UBA. I can send a Splunk mobile. I can make a webhook. You can do all sorts of things here, and that's those actions. We're not going to do any actions. Actually, we'll write it to a lookup. Output results to a lookup. I typically will just write that into my lookup, but you don't have to. You can do this. So I'm going to make it lame YouTube test.csv, and you can choose to append the results or replace the results. Hit that, save, and now when this scheduled search runs, it'll output those results to a lookup file. Let's go find that. I'm now on my Splunk. I'm on the user interface. Now we're going to go back to the config files. If I do a listing, I can see local. Because I made modifications, this is not, it's going to be in the local. I'm going to go into, if I look in the local, there will be, right there is savedsearches.conf. So if I go savedsearches.conf, oh, I don't have sudo vice. We're going to have a problem here. That's weird that I don't have permissions to this very file. Huh. Who am I? I'm Splunk. Well, sudo Etsy app search local vi save searches. There's RBA filler. Don't care about that. We should be able to find down here at some point. There's my lame YouTube scheduled search. Notice it's in between the stanzas. Email. We didn't choose any email options, but if we had, that would be here. We can see there's my cron schedule that I set, the earliest time, latest time, uh, search mode, fast, verbose, smart. What app's going to own this? This is those permissions we were doing. There's my query. Come on. And that's the end of the file. And so here's the search. So you've got the little search stanza. Anyway, so that is your general gist of what you're going to be doing with the savesearches.conf. If you have any questions, let me know down below. But the basic principle is that's your scheduled reports. You want something to recur frequently, savesearches.conf is where it's going to be at. Anything that's going to be recurring, that's your config file. Anyway, hope that helps. Hope it helps you move from being a lame analyst to a Splunk ninja, and hope you keep coming back. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. Always looking for people to join my members, special privileges to all those who join. If you become a member, you get actual specialized courses where I teach system administration to you for Splunk, search and reporting, dashboard creation, etc. Those members really help support this channel and make it grow. So if you feel like helping support me, go become a member down below. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks.